Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's event, Veteran and Caregiver Resources. Today is November 17th, 2022. And really to begin here, I wanted to go over a few things with you guys. We do have your audio and video turned off. That's to decrease distractions and help reduce bandwidth as we go from slide to slide. Also, this webinar is being recorded, and by staying on this webinar, you're giving consent to this. If you happen to leave or get kicked out for some reason, just use the same link to sign in again to be able to log back in. And then also, you guys have received a few documents in the Eventbrite yesterday and also today that has some useful links in it. It has our PDF version of the book. It has our 800 number on it and questions on there for clarification. It has our link support on there that we're going to be going over later with Annette. And also, I wanted to go over the agenda for today. So we have a packed agenda with great speakers today. I'll be going over what CalTAP does and some calvet benefits. We also have the link here as well. And we have Dr. Hartbront. I hope I'm saying that right. And so really just from the beginning with this agenda, so at 10 a.m. starting right now, we have the overview, and that's going over the benefits overview, what CalTAP is, what CalTAP does, our training coordinators here. Then we'll have the link, the local interagency network coordinator, Annette Hulaver, and she'll be going over her roles and responsibilities. And then we'll have the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, and that's who I was talking about earlier, Dr. Scott R. Hartnott, and he will be going over caregiver support programs, advanced care planning, home and community services, and he is from the VA Office of Geriatrics and Extended Care. And then right after that, we're going to finish it up here with questions and answers. We'll have a question and answer panel at the end for you guys, just in case maybe you haven't got your question answered throughout the webinar, and we'll be able to better assist you and give you to those subject matter experts. So I really want to express to you guys the Q&A panel here and how this works. So with so much information, there is a lot of questions. So we ask that you utilize the Q&A tab. If you haven't used this function before, all you got to do is hover at the bottom of your screen. It's going to be in the left or right of your screen, depending on your view. And this is so we can also eliminate distractions, and you can post your question in there if you have anything for us throughout the webinar. Unfortunately, you won't be able to really type anything in the chat because my partner, Sean Campbell, he's a training coordinator that's with me, and he's going to be putting other resources and things like that in the chat. So if you find yourself not being able to put anything in the chat, it's because we've disabled it for you, because there's going to be a lot of links in there. There's going to be a lot of websites, resources. There's going to be PDFs in there. There's going to be slides in there, and those are all resources for you guys. So we do encourage you guys to use the Q&A tab there at the bottom. And also the contact info for all our speakers will be at the end of each slide and presentation as listed. And then lastly, we do have a survey, and we do encourage you guys to fill out that survey. I'm going to be posting it up a little bit later here in the PowerPoint and also at the end of the slideshow as well. So with that being said, we can really begin here and get started. So this is the agenda and overview. We already went over that stuff, and I just wanted to say really thank you guys for being here today and participating. My name is Michael Monk. I'm a training coordinator here with CalTAP, the California Transition Assistance Program with the California Department of Veteran Affairs. I am a program coordinator here and a training coordinator as well, and I assist through various things throughout the department and do outreach. And I'm also a veteran myself. I did about 7 years active duty in the Navy, and I'm currently still serving as a reservist. So, you know, I really understand what you guys are going through when you're transitioning and doing other things, and you guys are getting out there and exploring all those opportunities. So really, what is CalTAP? This is something right here that I really like to read verbatim. And CalTAP is designed to inform and connect veterans of all eras to their earned federal and state benefits, as well as provide continued support and assistance as their needs change over time through these 5 pathways. So I like to read that verbatim because I like to emphasize the needs change over time, because Vietnam War veteran, that era is totally different than a Gulf War era veteran or Iraq War veteran. So we do understand that those needs change over time, and they're going to be different for everybody. So we do have these pathways here: core curriculum, education, employment, entrepreneurship, service providers. Service providers we don't talk about too much. That's more so in detail about lawyers and doctors and things of that nature. This right here is what I was talking about earlier. This is your Veterans Resource Book. So my colleague, Sean Campbell, he's going to be putting a PDF copy of this in the chat, just in case that you don't have one. You can also, if you would like, you could request a physical copy from us, and we'll give you our email later on here in the slides. And this is really just a great resource for you guys. There's so many things that are in this veteran resource book that are really broken down. There's claims that are broken down for you guys, education, there's how to do appeals and file claims and things like that. There's various federal benefits in there as well as state benefits. So I definitely encourage you guys to take a look at that and go into your veteran resource book. Also, if you go to our homepage on our website, at the bottom of our homepage, the veteran resource book PDF copy is also there as well, just in case you miss it in the slides today. So how can you use CalTAP online? So what you're going to do is you're going to Google Calvet, and it's going to be that first link that pops up. You're going to click that, and then right from there, it's going to bring you to the Calvet homepage. So this right here is our homepage, and then when you click, you're going to click on that CalTAP icon in the middle of the screen, and that's going to bring you to CalTAP specific things that are under Calvet. And that's going to bring you to these 5 pathways here that we talked about earlier. So you can really go through any of these pathways here. There's education, there's employment, there's service pathways, there's all different kinds of things you guys can look in here and click through. And then for the purposes of this presentation, we'll just be looking at the core curriculum pathway and the state benefits. So also I want to point out at the bottom of the screen here, right under webinars, you see that little link there, and it says archives, and it's hyperlinked, and that's for our previously recorded webinars. So if you miss one of our webinars, or maybe there's something else that you're looking out for, you can go back to that tab, and we usually have them uploaded in there within about 3 to 5 business days. So under the core curriculum module, you can go to California benefits, module 5, because that's specifically what we're just talking about today. We're just talking about state benefits that you guys are entitled to as veterans through California. So what are my California benefits? So this right here, this is also a page in your resource book, and this is called the regional outreach. And this is a great page here because it breaks down the links and what they are, the local interagency network coordinators, and that we'll be talking about that later. And they're broken down into 8 different regions. So it's just basically California on a map is broken down into 8 different regions as far as where the links serve and where they go to. And those are going to be your subject matter experts to go to for any kind of additional resources or outreach, or any other questions that you guys have, or maybe you have need help with homelessness or something like that. Those will definitely be the people to go to, and they're really good at getting out there and reaching out to those county offices and state and federal resources as well as local. So right here is our California specific benefits. So on the left-hand side here, we have the college tuition fee waiver, and this is for dependents of veterans. So this is so your dependents can get basically their college tuition fees waived for free. And what this does is it only waives college tuition. It does not cover any costs such as room and board or transportation or anything like that. But what you're going to do here is you're going to take a couple documents and get those documents together. You're going to get the dependent's birth certificate, the VA disability letter. You're going to get tax returns for the dependent if they've been working. And you're going to get the application itself. You're going to get those, and you're going to take those to your local county veteran service office, and you're going to apply for that benefit. And that'll waive the tuition for your dependents for any CSU school, UC school, or CCC school in the state of California. So there's also veteran designated driver's license. That's to designate the word veteran on your driver's license. That's so you don't have to carry a DD 214 around with you in your pocket. And there's several different businesses that do honor those, and that will honor those and give discounts as well. There's a motor vehicle registration fee waiver, and that's to reduce the cost of your registration fee, because we do know it is expensive here in California. There's a reduced fishing and hunting licenses, and no cost state pass park as well. And I do want to bring to you guys' attention that most of these do require a VA disability rating. So if you're a veteran with a disability rating, then you are entitled to use these, but they do change and vary depending on what you're looking at here. So I do want to say that the reduced fishing and hunting license is 50% rating, as well as the state park pass. And then there's also the disabled veteran property tax exemption. So that's to waive property taxes for your home here in California. And then also, when we talk about these property tax exemptions here, I do want to tell you guys it's important to go to your local county tax assessor's office, because even though you live in the state of California, those exemptions, they can change from county to county. So it's important to see what those exemptions are and go to your local county tax assessor's office. If you don't know what that is or where that is, you can honestly just put that in Google with your location, and it'll bring up your nearest office. There's also this similar thing with the business license and tax and fee exemptions as well. So on the right-hand side here, these are all different divisions of CalVet. So this isn't CalTAP specific stuff. This is just CalVet as a whole. So we do have a home loans division. There's a CalVet home loan as well as a VA home loan. So CalVet is California specific. That's a loan that you get through California. And then there's the VA home loan as well. So there's two of those, and it's possible to coincide and use both. We also have a women's division. We have a minority division that helps with veterans with unnaturalized citizenship. We do have CalVet homes for long-term care and CalVet cemeteries as well. So the CalVet homes for long-term care, they offer medical, dental, and pharmacy and rehabilitation and social services. They are within 8 different locations scattered through California: Barstow, Chula Vista, Fresno, Lancaster, Redding, Ventura, West LA, and Yountville. And then also, as far as the state cemeteries go, there's 3 different ones that are in Seaside, Redding, and Yountville. And also, I want to express to you guys that if you Google CalVet and you go to our homepage and you click that little CalTAP icon, there's a little button up there in the right-hand corner with a drop-down arrow. It says CalTAP programs. If you click on that button, that's going to bring up anything on that right-hand side. So any of our divisions are going to be there under CalTAP programs. If you want to learn more about it, if you want to contact somebody about it, all that stuff is going to be there as well. So right here are some common veteran websites that you guys might be familiar with. So right here is the va.gov healthcare portal. And this is right here is really just this is the My VA portal, and it's really a great hub for you guys to keep everything organized. You can keep your up-to-date address, your medical records here, your educational benefits, your payment history, disability stuff. You can also apply for VA healthcare on here. So this is a great way to keep it organized and keep it in one place. And as well as the My VA. So this is the newer portal that kind of a little bit different than I was talking about in the previous slide. So you guys may have heard of eBenefits before, but eBenefits is actually being replaced by this portal. So not only does it have healthcare stuff, it's going to eventually have everything on there, and they're in the middle of transitioning to this. So you definitely want to take this down. And then also, if it's your first time logging on here, you're definitely going to have to go in and you're going to have to create an account, and you're going to have to verify some information for yourself. And right here is the health.net, and this is for health records, appointments, pharmacy. You can get different updates about staff and the VA healthcare team. You can also have your own health information in here. You can get your VA medications and things like that. And there's some other resources here for you guys as well in that portal. So right here, these are just some ways that you guys can stay connected with us. So we do ask that you provide your non-DoD email if you could. And we do say that because a lot of you guys are transitioning and getting out of the military. So that means your military email is no longer going to be valid. Also, you can register for My CalVet on CalVet's homepage. I'm going to show you guys that on another slide. Also, you can add CalVet Veteran Services on social media. You can attend our webinars. And this is the survey I was talking about when I first started the presentation here. So here's the link on the bottom left-hand corner, and then also there's the QR code there on the right. So if you guys could please take your time and fill out the survey, we do appreciate your feedback, and we really engineer your feedback to make our presentations better and to really just take your guys' feedback into consideration. So we really do care. And also, I'll have this just in case you miss it right now. I'm going to have this survey at the end of the slideshow as well. So when we're done with our presentation, and then at the end of the presentation, actually, when the presentation closes, the survey is going to pop up automatically in a browser. So if you want to do it that way as well. So right here is the My Calvet. So when you go to the Calvet website and you click on CalTAP, this little banner here on the right-hand corner, you can find that really from anywhere on our website where it says log in, and you're going to click register, and then you're just going to fill out some basic information there. And that's one of the ways that you're going to stay connected with us. Right here is our newsletter. So on the left-hand side here, here's our Deputy Secretary, Keith Boylan of our VSD, that's a Veteran Services Division. That's the division that I'm a part of here in CalTAP. And we do a monthly newsletter, and this is kind of a snapshot here of what that looks like. And it shows our upcoming webinars and things that we're doing, things that are going on in the veteran community, as you know, as well as civilian community as well. So also, there's recorded webinars tab on there as well if you guys want to go back to it and watch your previously recorded webinars. And this is really just a good visualization of what our newsletters look like. So if you're interested, please subscribe and go to our login page over there and register for Calvet, and we can see you in our newsletters as well. And then we'll also give our CalTAP email in here as well. So right here is my contact information. That is the hotline for the California Department of Veteran Affairs there on the upper left-hand corner. That's our phone number. When you call that, a live person will answer you. This is our homepage, our home website, and then that's my email. I'm usually pretty responsive and getting back to you guys within 24 hours. So if you guys have any questions, please ask. There's our social media handles there on the right-hand corner. So there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's our page as well as the YouTube channel. So we do have a YouTube channel that we like to post our videos on as well. So with that being said, I'm going to hand it off here to our link, our local interagency network coordinator, Annette. Annette, are you there? You can take it away.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Yes, I'm the local interagency network coordinator, and that's a mouthful. We're referred to as links. But basically what I am is I'm a field rep for the state of California. I'm one of the 8 field reps. Next slide, please. So you can see that Calvet has divided the state into 8 regions. Each color is a region with a coordinating link. And we work together as a team. We have our own individual specialties, educational and backgrounds that we bring to the forefront, but we make sure we're aware of the state and federal agencies and benefits. But we work within our local communities to build additional resources. I call them augmented resources. I'm the Central Valley Link. I cover Stanislaus, Kern County, about 8 counties representing 144,000 veterans. But what I also represent is current and prior military service members and their dependents. So within my counties, we have a large group of nonprofits that we work with and local agencies to give additional support to veterans. Next slide, please. So we provide outreach to service members, veterans, and their families. I go to DoD installations. I'm very active at the Lemoore Naval Air Station. That we want to make sure that current military service members are aware of their benefits before they separate. We work with the local libraries and their veterans resource centers. In fact, I was just one in Bakersfield yesterday. We work with our community college veterans resource centers. Typically, these are recently separated veterans. We want to make sure that everyone is aware of what they're entitled to and what their benefits are. And then by working with our veterans employment committees and our collaboratives, we can make referrals and work directly with established service provider networks. I get emails from veterans or some of the community members that someone had a leak in their roof or they needed a battery for their car. But these local agencies are able to assist them with those things that state and federal services can't provide. And then we assist with local emergencies. Recently, I was in the LAC Local Assistance Center in Mariposa County, assisting those evacuees or those who are impacted by the Oak Fire. I worked with 37 veterans. In some cases, they lost not only their homes, but all their paperwork. And that DD Form 214 is the gateway to pay to your benefits. So make sure you have a copy available or that you can get to, or that someone in your family can get to. But by working with the County Veteran Service Office, we were able to request copies of their DD Form 214, and by working with the CalVet home loan agent, get the certificate of eligibility so they could go forward with a CalVet or a VA home loan. Currently, we're taking all the calls, the links, and as well as headquarters of the people who call into 1-800-CalVet. So whether I get a call from Klamath Falls or San Diego, because I know the state and federal resources, I'm able to assist them. And if we need to dive deeper into their communities, I can contact their link. And then we provide leadership and advocacy to local communities. And we do this by staying in touch with our community partners, letting them know what benefits are available, any changes or updates to benefits, and also if there's any gaps in benefits that we can send up to headquarters. Next slide, please. So getting connected to your benefits, that's what the links are all about. That's what I do day in and day out. And I'm kind of the poster child for getting connected to your benefits. I served in the United States Army from 1975 to 1978. And once I separated, I used my GI Bill, used my educational benefits, got my degree, used a VA home loan, and I thought, oh, that's pretty much it. But it wasn't until 2010 when I started working for the state of California, I realized I had additional benefits. I didn't know I could file for compensation. I have a service-connected disability, which leads to additional benefits. I'm enrolled in VA healthcare. And as Michael said earlier, your needs change over time. I may not have needed these benefits earlier or my medical benefits earlier, but these benefits, many do not expire. So you can take advantage of these. And I'm going to tell you how to do that. Employment and training, the Employment Development Department has dedicated staff that work solely with veterans. I was an EDD vet rep for 8 years. I know how hard they work to get veterans connected with employers or help them with resume building or interview skills. And they're co-located in the America's Job Centers of California. And these AJCCs have the tools that you can use, whether it's scanners, printers, computers, copiers, they're there for you. And these services are at no charge to you. So take advantage of them. California state benefits, that's what CalVet is all about. And every state has different benefits and different eligibilities. But it's the County Veteran Service Office. These are our boots on the ground. They're trained by CalVet. They administer state and federal benefits. So whether you're filing for compensation and pension, educational benefits, whether it's your chapters, with your college tuition fee waiver, DMV, please take advantage of these offices, especially when filing for compensation. You may not realize what you're entitled to until you speak to them. Healthcare, I'm enrolled in VA healthcare. I think they're wonderful. We should be mindful of our healthcare during this time. It's been great the last 2 years. Most of my appointments have been through telehealth or VA Connect. I may go in for a blood test, but I communicate with my doctor on My Healthy Vet. It's a very easy way to manage your healthcare during this time, and the vet centers are there for you as well. And if you need to get enrolled in VA healthcare, you can either go online or you can actually call your local VA healthcare facility and ask to speak to eligibility. Next slide, please. So this is my contact information. If you need any information at all, need to get connected to your link in your area. Once again, I'm a United States Army veteran with a service-connected disability. I've used many of these benefits, so please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you for your service, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Annette. Very useful information there. Definitely get with the links and take advantage of them and the things that they got to say there. They have really, really great information there. So right here, we're going to move on to our guest speaker here, Dr. Scott Hartnoff, and he's from the VA Office of Geriatrics and Extended Care. Are you there, sir?
Hi there. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir. Take it away.
Cool. Good morning, everybody. I want to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Scotty Hartroff. I'm an internal medicine and geriatric medicine physician. I'm also an Army veteran. I'm the executive director for the VA Office of Geriatrics and Extended Care, and want to thank y'all for letting me participate in today's conference. Next slide. So the VA's Office of Geriatric Extended Care, also known as GEC, has a variety of programs to support veterans of all ages with complex care needs. The programs range from outpatient geriatric specialty care, as you can see on the left-hand side of this chart, and primary care to in-home care, either provided directly by VA staff or purchased from the community. And GEC also has facility-based programs, which include the VA community living centers, state veterans home partnerships, as well as purchasing care from community nursing homes when needed, and then to also helping with hospice care. So we kind of cover the full spectrum of veterans of all ages, really, and not just those, even though we're geriatrics and extended care, we do cover home care and end-of-life care for veterans of all ages. Next slide. So today I'm going to give a broad overview of more specifically in the home and community-based care programs, which includes long-term services and supports, which really is the main foundation for us to help veterans and their caregivers, especially whenever they have needs for assistance within the home. And also as part of our increasing goal of helping veterans to age in place, which would be in their home or at least the least restrictive environment possible. So next slide. So in a moment, we'll review some of the specific programs, which include vet-directed care, homemaker home health aid program, and home-based primary care. The eligibility for the different programs varies. Some are based on veteran service-connected disability ratings and others are not. Most do have a clinical need component. So we recommend talking to your VA primary care PACT provider or their social worker about your specific situation. The home care services are primarily not service connected related, but many of the nursing home facility-based programs are. So again, every veteran has unique needs, so therefore it's important that you speak with your primary care provider or the social worker assigned to your PAC team to find out really what are your specific needs and which programs would better fit what your needs are. So now I'm going to walk through some of the best place to obtain information even after the training is over. Next slide. Now I'll walk through our website so that you can be able to get some additional information for any specific program that we did not get to today. Because again, on our website, we cover everything from, about updates and information about the COVID vaccines to home and community-based services and other. So we have a lot more information than what I'm touching on today. So next slide. Please note the website allows for navigation in different ways that you can get to the same information, but we've put on this left-hand side where you can kind of go directly to actually different parts of the VA website and geriatrics a little bit more easily. So as you can see, you can find the tab or the click area that says Home and Community-Based Services. And next slide. And once you've clicked on the Home and Community-Based Services tab, then it takes you to this website, which actually walks through the basic structure of some of the GEC programmatic website. Since we don't have time to go into full detail on each of them, but you'll note that we've circled the homemaker home health aid care, and then if you'll go to the next slide, then you're able to, I'm sorry, go back one more. Okay, and then once you click on that, then you'll see the different programs and things that are on that website that support the needs that are complex. As indicated earlier, some of the programs are provided directly by the VA clinicians, such as home-based primary care, which provides primary care longitudinal within the actual home of veterans who are homebound and can't make it into the hospital or clinics. And then there's also programs such as adult day home health care that's provided by some VA staff, but also contracted in the community. And I'm going to talk a bit more about homemaker home health aid when we can move on to some of the next slides. But we want to point out that vet-directed care as a similar program. Some overviews of our personal care services, as you can see, are a community adult day health care, which allows a caregiver to have supervised care of the veteran so that they can go and do things such as shopping. It's almost a type of a respite care that gives them a chance to social interactions, activities, exercise, peer support, and recreation. And then the homemaker home health aid is actually where a care provider, a home health aide, or a homemaker comes actually to the veteran's home and can provide forms of help with assistance with some of their activities that they need help with, but also by doing so provide indirect respite care. Then we have a veteran-directed care program, which is with the help of trained counselors. Veterans can hire their own workers with a program that the VA helps them set up a budget, and then an outside agency, disability and aging, will help them manage the budget and also help them when it comes to hiring not only outside people, but also potentially family caregivers. And this helps people, especially whenever they may be in a rural area that doesn't have many home health agencies, so that we can't contract with, but this allows the veterans to, again, identify people that they want to be able to provide care and be reimbursed. And then also home respite care. It's a specific form of where HHA can spend longer segments of time with the veteran and give some respite to for the caregiver and for the veteran. Next slide. And then skilled home care, this can be short-term or long-term. Many times it's right after a hospitalization, but many of these things could be wound care, therapy services, helping with medication administration, and then also hospice and palliative care, which with veterans that are at end of life or have a terminal illness, we can provide home care, home hospice, so that they can not only help the veteran and their family with things such as pain management, then they many times will cover many other medications that are directly hospice related, but they also give bereavement and other counseling to family members, both before, during, and after with the veteran and with the caregivers. So it's been very, very helpful to veterans. Next slide. And again, this is just a little more information about veteran-directed care. It's where the VAs set aside a budget to purchase the services from a VA-approved disability network agency that helps the veteran and their family to actually act as an employer and hire people and make sure that they get all the proper documentation and tax forms and all that kind of stuff, so that they're not out on their own to try and figure out how to be an employer, but rather this program helps them walk through that and helps them manage their budget as well. Next slide. And so again, when you go on our website, whenever you click on a specific program, it'll open up the screen, as you can see here, and then it'll have subcomponents where you can click on it, and kind of like when you click on what is it, it'll also kind of be a background what it is. And then also you have boxes next to that, as you can see, that it kind of helps understand some of your basic eligibility, what services are, and then kind of how do I decide. Next slide. And again, it shows the eligibility, if there are any eligibility, but of course, besides, when we speak of eligibility, it's not always service connection related. It's rather, many times when you talk to the social worker or your provider, what they want to do is find out if you're clinically eligible, in the sense that they need to find out what specific challenges or limitations you have about taking care of yourself at home or for the veteran. Such as, are they having trouble with bathing or eating or walking, so they do need to kind of do a little bit of an in-depth, over the phone many times, question, just to find out, again, what each veteran's specific challenges are, and as to which of these programs will best benefit them and their caregiver. Next slide. And again, so, and then it says on how do I decide? And again, it says that it kind of gives you like a caregiver self-assessment, and then also it kind of making decisions as to things to consider, so that you can figure out if this program really is something that would work for you. It also, this caregiver self-assessment kind of helps you before you talk to the social worker or your primary care provider, kind of helps you gather your thoughts and collect some ideas as to, again, what are some of your barriers, so that you're not on the spot when you're on that call. You literally have something to look at, so that you're not just, you know, later on thinking of something, but rather you've had time to sit down and think about what are some of the challenges. And it kind of gives you a format to really kind of think of that structure of challenges that you might have on an individual level. Next slide. And again, it's got some decision aids, such as like patient priorities of care. And really what we're trying to get to, we're not only in the process of really expanding our aging in place services. We've had a very large expansion of home and community-based programs, especially by a multi-year process with veteran-directed care, home-based primary care, and even medical foster home. But one of the things we're also doing is kind of an age-friendly health system. And one of the main tenets of that is really the first thing is finding out what matters to the veteran and the caregiver. Because many times in healthcare, we do things out of an assumption that will be important to you, and we find out later on that it was not what we weren't hitting the mark. So many times it's the lack of us really understanding what matters to the veteran and caregiver, and then people are just assuming and throwing things at you that really may have nothing to do with what the veteran really wants to see. Especially, I mean, many times we assumed the veteran wanted this, and we find out, well, no, they really just wanted to meet a goal of being able to go to their daughter's wedding, and or someone else's wedding in their family, and that would require X, Y, and Z. And we were like, well, without knowing that that's what really mattered to them, many of us would just assume many other things and be just throwing all sorts of stuff at them and really not finding out what really meant to them. So it's really about finding out what matters, and then us finding out what are the resources to really help you with that and meeting your decisions. And also the making decisions current care planning, again, helps the veteran and or their caregiver to work together and really be able to sit down and think about things before they have that time with their provider or social worker, so that they again have some sort of format to formulate and really have their thoughts out on paper, rather than on the spot where you may miss something or feel like you're rambling and not really making sense. So we really like folks to really help us provide what really matters by knowing what that is. Next slide. So again, we have many initiatives underway to support veterans as they age. We take care of veterans of all ages, because as you can imagine, whether you're a young person with significant injuries from traumatic injuries or traumatic brain injuries or anything, it's not just taking care of older veterans necessarily. So we take care of veterans of all ages that have challenges or complex care needs. And the VA is a leader in the home and community-based services and provides many services that's not generally available through other healthcare sources. And many of our programs aren't available through Medicare, Medicaid, or many private health insurances. So we do have some programs that are specific, and many times we like to make sure that they're aimed with more veteran-centered understanding and ability to help the veteran, versus what many times in the marketplace may not just be aimed or trained towards what specific veteran needs are. Next slide. So with that, I just want to thank y'all as to letting me come today, and again, just kind of present some of the stuff and where you can look at it. And again, the highlight is really for y'all to, we ask again that everyone kind of do that what matters kind of decision, using our decision aids and things ahead of time, so that you're prepared when you meet with your provider or your social worker. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much, sir. Very great information here for you guys. All right, with that being said, I want to hand it off to my colleague here, Sean Campbell, to see if there's any questions in the Q&A tab that we want to go over here.
Thank you so much, Michael. It's great to see everybody today. There are a couple of questions in the Q&A tab that I'd like to address towards a good doctor. The first question was someone was asking about a family member who applied for aid and attendance, and that family member was not received a letter regarding if it was approved or not. Who can they contact to get that letter?
Actually, on the website, the main VA website, I believe there is a way to check, because that's under the Veterans Benefit Administration. So they do aid and attendance on the VBA side rather than on the medical side. But it should be on the My VA website where you can do inquiries regarding benefits and ask as to a status. Or if you happen to know a local VBA or counselor, then that's who would be the best person to give you an up-to-date status as to where you're at.
Thank you so much for answering that question. The next question to come in is about PCS, and they're asking, is PCS only for veterans or surviving spouses of a deceased veteran?
They're primarily for the veteran, but many times what they do is they're to give caregivers respite by providing care for the veteran while they go and get activities that they need to do. So it's an indirect for the caregiver. Now there's a separate caregiver program that can speak to y'all if y'all need to know about that. That's a different office. But what we do is we benefit the actual caregiver by providing respite care, but it's primarily for the veteran and not for necessarily surviving spouses.
Excellent. Thank you for that clarification. The next question coming in is about VA memory care facilities, and specifically, are there any VA facilities that focus primarily on memory care?
We have many units within our local community living centers that are run by the VA, and what we're actually undergoing and making sure that all our staff are really trained to the sensitive issues regarding dementia and memory disorders. We do have some that have specific units per se, especially if the veterans get to that point where they're wandering off or something and might need more of a secure unit, such as where they can't just wander out. But it's by facility, but we do have some that do have units. And we also, if a veteran meets the eligibility for our community nursing home, working with the social worker that's assigned with them, then we can kind of, at the VA, we can also try and find a facility that meets their needs based on their specific individual needs.
Oh, that's an excellent answer. Thank you. At the time, there's no other questions that are pending. If another one comes in, I'll let you know right away, but I'll give it back to Michael for now. Thank you, Michael, for the time to answer questions.
All right, thank you very much, Sean, and thank you very much, Doctor. We're gonna conclude this here, and we're just going to go through a couple more ending slides here. So some of our upcoming workshops we got here in December, we have a CDCR career fair here on the 7th. That's for the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. They're doing recruiting and they need more personnel and they need more staff. So if you're interested in that, we also have another webinar here on the 8th for financial literacy. And then we'll have another one on the 15th for veteran service offices and what they are, where they're located, and what they're about, and the services that they provide. So also right here is the survey. That's the same survey I gave you guys earlier, just in case maybe you missed it or something like that. Here's the QR code and there's the link as well. Like I mentioned earlier, we do value your feedback with our future webinars. So I'll just leave that up here for a second. And then also when we conclude this webinar, it'll pop up in the browser as well.
Michael, if the opportunity permits, there's a couple of additional questions that came in, if the doctor's still available, that I'd like to direct towards him.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. The first one for, let me see if y'all can hear me, Jana, about the disability rating. Now, this is for the long-term care for VA to provide that care, whether it be in the VA CLC or community nursing home for long stay, is usually a veteran needs to be at least 70% service connected. There are some few intricacies otherwise, but that's primarily the percent service connection for the VA to long-term pay. Now, sometimes if a veteran right after a hospitalization might need just some rehab before they go home, sometimes we can get them into our CLCs or somewhere else for just rehab. or we can work with them to use maybe their Medicare, to use their 30 days of Medicare to get those benefits. So again, that's why it's really important to talk with the assigned social worker, so we can find the best way to meet those needs for them. Now, as to the aid and attendance, again, on the VBA, I think Michael had shown that website earlier on the My VA, and I think it walks you through kind of how to apply and what and where it goes when it comes to aid and attendance. And as for if your dad needs, I look at aid and attendance as separate from also needing home care, because you can still meet with your social worker if he needs maybe a homemaker, home health aide or something. So so you can get that in addition to the separate application for a stipend that comes for aid and attendance. So I don't want you to think all your eggs are in a basket for aid and attendance. We can still help provide with home care if that's needed, regardless of with aid and attendance. So I don't want you to feel like that's the only avenue you have. And then VA disability after seeing an LHI doctor. Help me with, what's LHI?
I'm not familiar with that an acronym, sir. LHI.
Thank you. We have a lot of alphabet soup in the government sizes, but I don't necessarily think of that. But anyways, how long does it take for approval or non-approval? Again, I would have you look at the disability section of your My VA website. It usually has an FAQ website area. Again, I'm a veteran. I went through the transition process myself, so you can also work with a VSO counselor or whoever's helping you with your application. And then what program would be beneficial for me, unable to sleep in a regular bed because of my service-connected? Actually, what you can do is speak with your VA primary care provider, or even, again, the social worker. And again, what they can do is put in for a prosthetics request and see about how they can get you like a specialty type bed. Again, they'll have to find out with you as to what type of bed. And so I talk in generalities, but again, it's really important that you get the specifics to your provider so that you can get the actual type of bed that you might need versus is it a mattress versus a lift versus, and then how much room do you have to put something in? So again, please contact your provider and they can work with prosthetics and equipment folks to see what they can do with your home. And then thank y'all. It says LHI is a VA contractor. VA. Yeah, again, I would, on the VA under the benefits side, usually has an FAQ when it goes to the compensation and process. It's changed a lot since I went through the transition myself from active duty. So I don't want to give you dated information per se, because I have used some new contractors and have really improved the process. But the CalTAP, calvet people are probably on the ball when it comes to giving y'all some information as to how to, some kind of an FAQ level with that. As well as they'll probably be able to help you with the reserve medical services, Michael himself and y'all that have done reserves. I was active duty and then left, so I didn't really do a whole lot of reserve time. So they would probably be able to help you with that. And I'll let y'all take over a lot of the filing for disabilities. Y'all are probably more conversant than I am as to the up-to-date versions.
All right. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Sean, are you there?
Absolutely.
Do you have anything left that you want to say?
There was a person who's asking about which organizations can help to file disability with the VA, and that would be the county veteran service offices. And I can drop a link for that in the chat again. And where do you download the seminar info? If you're looking for copies of our previously recorded webinars, they're going to be in the archives page that Mr. Monk spoke of earlier on the Calvet website. And if you do want a PDF copy of this presentation, we're happy to give you one. Just send us an email to the email address that's listed there at CalTAP@calvet.gov. calvet.ca.gov, and just be specific because we do have a couple of different webinars going on. So that way we can get you the copy of the PDF, because this is great information. We definitely want to share it with everybody. And any questions that that you may have to follow on afterwards, we want to make sure that we can answer them for you as well. Thank you again, Michael, for giving me an opportunity to answer those questions.
Absolutely. No problem, Sean. Thank you everyone for attending here, and really appreciate you guys for being our guest speakers here today. And thank you very much, Annette and the doctor, for showing up and providing that information for the VA Office of Geriatrics. And we definitely had a great webinar here, and that concludes our webinar for today. So we're going to go ahead and end this, and we're going to end the webinar for all here. Hey, Sean, before you end it, you want to hit stop recording and then just end it for all?
Absolutely. I'm just going to drop the last couple of links in for people that are asking about where do I get a copy of the previously recorded webinars as well.